Hunter-gatherers died from plague 3,000 years before the first recorded pandemic. A 5,500-year-old child carried the earliest plague ever found in human remains. 3 Stone Age kids in Sweden died from a disease that wouldn't kill millions until the Middle Ages. Around 3500 BCE, hunter-gatherer communities in what is now Sweden buried their dead in shallow graves along the Baltic coast. The Fralsgarden site held the remains of at least 78 individuals, many of them children who died before age 10. These communities had no permanent agriculture, no domesticated animals beyond dogs, and no cities. They lived in mobile family bands, following seasonal game and fish runs. Their world predated the wheel, writing, and metalworking. When archaeologists extracted DNA from the teeth and bones of 3 children at the site, they expected to find malnutrition or injury. Instead, they found Yersinia pestis, the bacterium that causes plague. The discovery pushed plague's timeline back by 2,000 years. The Fralsgarden strain dates to approximately 5,500 years ago, making it the oldest plague genome ever sequenced from human remains. Previous studies placed the earliest human plague infections around 5,000 years ago in Central Asia. This Swedish outbreak predates the Bronze Age, the rise of farming in Northern Europe, and the spread of the wheel. The bacteria lacked the flea transmission gene that later made plague a pandemic killer, meaning it likely spread through respiratory droplets or direct contact, slower, but still lethal. The children's remains showed no trauma, suggesting infection was the primary cause of death. DNA analysis confirmed all 3 victims carried identical plague strains, pointing to a single outbreak. But the bacteria's survival depended on something no one expected. Hunter-gatherers move. Farming villages stay put. That difference should have stopped plague cold. Epidemics thrive in dense, sedentary populations, the kind that wouldn't dominate Scandinavia for another 1,000 years. Yet this Stone Age plague killed at least 3 children in the same community, suggesting sustained transmission despite constant migration. Researchers now believe the pathogen circulated at low levels for centuries, flaring up sporadically when bands gathered for seasonal trade or ritual. The children's graves held one final revelation. The 3 Swedish children weren't victims of the Black Death's ancestor. They were killed by a dead-end branch of plague that left no descendants. 3 Stone Age kids in Sweden died from a plague strain that vanished without descendants, yet their infection proves humanity's oldest pandemic predates cities, farming, and written history by millennia. The Black Death didn't invent plague. It just perfected it. Subscribe to @WhizBros for next week's forgotten epidemic, and watch our video on the Bronze Age collapse that plague may have triggered. Subscribe @WhizBros for forgotten pandemic.